Hello, I'm Kelly from K's Web Designs. I'm the self-proclaimed WordPress Queen. Why am I the WordPress Queen? Because I love everything WordPress. I've been working in WordPress for many years now. I started Kelly's Web Designs, nearly 13 years ago now, and I've not looked back since. Absolutely love web design and coding, and I'm here to share all that knowledge with you. Welcome to the easy way to upload and optimize your WordPress blog. I'm here for you to help you with everything that you might need going through this course. So for any time you need any help, you've got any questions, or you just need a little bit of advice, please feel free to email me. My email address is in the PDF that you'll have received with this course. So please feel free at any point to send me an email if you want to speak to me, if you've got any questions, or if you just want to let me know how you're getting on. That'd be great. So, why is blogging so important? It's so important because it is the one thing that you can do that will increase your Google ranking. The reason being, the more you have on your website, the more content you have that's relevant to what you do, the more Google's going to think you are the authority within your niche. So that's why it's important to niche down and blog about your niche. Google wants to put the right people in front of the right websites, so your job is to tell Google you're the right website, and we do that with blogging. Blogging regularly is really important. It's the magic trick to making this whole blogging thing work. The reason being, Google indexes the internet, or the parts of the internet that it wants to, around every 6 weeks. So if Google can predict that you're going to put content out there within those 6 weeks, and reliably you do that, Google will think that you are really up and really know your stuff in your niche. So that's why it's not just about blogging, it's about blogging regularly. I always say your website should be much more than a shopfront. It should be your main sales tool. It should be the thing that can sell your products and services when you can't. It's there 24/7, 7 days a week, and it should be the one thing that you use every day, that you send people to every day. It really should be the thing that is gaining you clients and leads. Now, whether you do that through social media or blogging, I would always recommend a combination of both. You want to be doing blogging and social media, but I'm the WordPress Queen, so I'm all about blogging and how to do that, and obviously that's what this course is all about. Blogging is so important because you want to let the world know, let Google know, let everyone know that you are the expert, that whatever it is that you sell or produce or the service you offer, you are the expert in it. And the way to do that within Google is to make sure that you have the most content about that thing on your website, more than your competitors. You want to show Google that you are the person to go to for your niche, for whatever it is that you sell or produce, or the service that you provide. And we do that by having regular blogs put onto our website. Hopefully you've already gone through the blog planner mini course so that you know exactly what you're going to write about for the next 12 months, and hopefully you've already written that first blog so that when we dive in a second you can get going straight away and follow the step-by-step plans to getting that blog uploaded and optimised and getting the best possible result you can in Google. So let's get started. Okay then, let's jump right in and get started on uploading your blog. So the first thing that I always like to do is have 2 tabs open, one with the front end of my website, I'll just pop over to my blog, and one with the back end. This is so that if I make any changes on the back end, I can really easily and quickly see them on the front end without having to log out and log back in. I can just see it all. So log in. Now, it is quite important that you have administrative access on your account. So if you're not an administrator, please ask your web designer if they can make you an admin. It's just a tick of a box, so it's not too difficult for them to do. You can still complete this course if you're not an administrator, but if you don't have the plugins that I'm about to tell you about already installed on your website, you won't be able to do it if you're not an admin. That's why we just want admin access. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is install a couple of plugins. Now, to do that, we go over to Plugins, Add New. The plugins that we are going to install, one is the classic editor, which is this one here, and the other one is Yoast SEO. Now, as Classic Editor is the first one in the list, fab, it's there, we can install it. Now, I would never recommend you to install a plugin that said untested with your version of WordPress. However, this is a very robust plugin. It's got over 5 million active installations, and I know that WordPress updated a few weeks ago and the plugin editors just haven't had a chance to go in and edit it yet, because you can see here it was only last updated 7 months ago. This plugin's been going quite a while, and for 99.9% of you it will be 100% okay to install this. And to install it, you literally click install now. And what this plugin does is it replaces the Gutenberg editor. If you're used to using Gutenberg and you want to carry on using it, of course by all means do, but the rest of this course will be based in Classic Editor, because I think it saves a lot of time in the long run to uploading your blogs, and I'll go through why as we go through the course. So once it's installed, just press activate, and then the plugin will be active on your website. Once it's activated, it will take you through to the plugins page, and you can see here that it's activated. Now, we do want to install another plugin, so you can, again, another way to get to the add new is up here, this button up there. You can just add new plugin up there. And this time we're going to go over to the search box. We're going to search Yoast SEO. All I've done is put Yoast SEO in the box. You can either hit the return tab, or which makes it happen more quickly, or you can just wait for the website to load in the plugins. So as you can see, it's here. This one's compatible because it was updated 2 weeks ago. Again, we've got over 5 million active installations, so it should not have any problems being installed on your website. Again, install now. These two plugins are very, very common, and most WordPress websites include both of these plugins. The beauty of plugins is you can turn them off. So if you do prefer to use Gutenberg but want to just use the classic view for posts, you can come into your plugin section at any time and activate and deactivate the plugin there. So if you just want to use it for posts but you want to use Gutenberg everywhere else, it's dead simple to do. I'll show you in a second once we've activated Yoast. Give it a few seconds to do its thing, and then it will take us through to the plugins page, and you can see Yoast's down here installed. Now, if you did want to deactivate Classic Editor for when you finish with the posts, it's as simple as deactivate. And then when you're ready to activate it again, because you're going to put some more blog posts on, activate. Simple as that, dead easy to use, and I think a very useful plugin. So let's jump on over and add your first post. Now, you're going to hear me interchange the word posts and blog all the time, because in the back end of WordPress, your blogs are called posts. It's the post section here. And if you hit the button, if you click the link for the posts, it will bring you up all of the blogs that you've already got. So what I'm going to do is show you how to add a new blog post, and I'm going to add this one again. This, what's the magic secret to getting to the top of Google? I'm going to add this blog post in again to show you how to do it. Now, hopefully you've already gone through the mini course of the blog planner, so you know exactly what you're going to put in here, and you've already got your blog written. If you haven't, stop the course now and just write your first blog post so that we've got something to copy and paste in. It doesn't matter if it doesn't end up being the actual text you use in the long run, just so that we can practice uploading different bits and pieces to the website. It's always good just to have a little bit of text. So with that being said, let's go for it. So you can add new up here, or you can add new over here. I like this add new at the top one, so I'm going to go with that. Once you add a new post, the first thing you get to is that add the title. So hopefully you've already got your title written out, and mine is what's the magic secret to getting to the top of Google. So we're going to post that in there. Now, what we post as our title will end up being our URL, so what you can put into the top bar and search for. Once you've published or scheduled the post, you will be able to see the permalink, the URL will appear down here. After that, you want to go to this box. Now, this is the bit that makes it easier in Classic Editor. In Gutenberg, you have a thing called blocks that you have to add in for each paragraph, whereas in Classic View, we can just go in and copy and paste straight into this big box here. Now, if you can't see these buttons at the bottom down here, if you haven't got those, it's this little toggle here. if you toggle this on and off, this second button in, you'll be able to see all of the different things that you can do to the text within this box, and it works just like Word, or like bold, italic, bullet points. So the symbols are very much like it is in just your classic Word. Now, what I would recommend, the best thing to do when you're copy and pasting your blog from Word in, is go to your text view. Now this will give you coding tags. Now we're not interested in any of that. All we are simply going to do is go to the Word document with your blog in it. You're going to copy it and paste it into the text view. Now you're going to see that it's all squished together, so you're going to need to put paragraphs and things like that in, but we're going to do that on the visual tab. The reason that we have copy and pasted it into the text view is because the styling from Word can bleed across into WordPress, and we don't want to add extra styling, because what that will do is take the styling that you've already got out for your blog, and it will just make you frustrated, because you'll be like, why is the font different and the wrong size and the wrong colour? So we always paste it into the text view. Then we'll go over to the visual view, and now you'll see that you've got loads of words in there, but there's no paragraphs or anything. So what you just want to do is, as you would in Word, just hit return where your paragraph should be. Go. That one's there. It might be helpful to you to refer back to what your Word document to see where it all, fits in. So I've got, where have I got to? Optimization can be, there we go, WebP, yeah. I think there, is that correct? Let me know. Is that right? Oh no, put that one back there. There we go. Now you can see we've got some big gaps in here, and we only want a paragraph. So just make sure that you've gone through and you're not adding in more space. And all I'm doing here is hitting backspace and then hitting enter again, just to make sure that we've not accidentally put in, see that one there, it accidentally put in 2 lines instead of 1. So you can see the gap here is smaller than the gap here. So if I hit backspace and then return again, it makes that gap smaller. Just a quirk in WordPress, when you first put the paragraphs in, it adds 2 paragraphs rather than 1. So just go back through and make sure that you've hit backspace and hit enter, so that all of these spaces are the same in between. Now what I like to do is, if I like to save it so that I can see it, basically. So if you go over here and save draft, what this will do is it will give you your permalink. And once you have a permalink, you can actually see it on the front end. So if you hover over this permalink, right click, and then open link in new tab, you will see that because you're logged into the back end of your website, you'll be able to see anything that is in draft form. So you can actually now see the draft blog that you've created. And I can see that all my spaces are correct, got all the right spacing in there for the paragraphs. So that's perfect. My first one's gone ahead. All as planned. My first tweaks have gone ahead, all as planned. Brilliant. So then what we're going to do is we are going to do all of the optimization, because you could just leave that as a blog and go, brilliant, fab, all the blog bits are in there, the text's in there, what more do I need? Well, this is where Yoast comes in. So before I alter anything within the text, what I like to do is scoot on down to the Yoast section, which is here. Now you're going to need to put a focus key phrase into Yoast so that you can get a return, so that you can tell whether any of the settings are set correctly. So I think the magic secret to getting to the top of Google, magic secret to get to the top of Google, that is going to be my key phrase. I'm going to pop it in there. Now we're going to do the metadata. I always in the title, in the SEO title, put the blog title, and in the meta description I do the same. You only have a certain amount of characters on each of these sections, and you can see it's denoted here. So if I kept typing in, it will fill it up until it got to red. And the same with down here. You can keep filling it up and then it will go to green. So I have a standard little section that I always put into my web blogs. So I always make sure I've got my business name in there, what I do and who I do it for. And if there's space, I always like to put in my phone number. Now to get this little symbol here, if you go to your keyboard, hold shift and it's the little symbol next to the Z, you'll get that little line. And then 07894 112 567. 07894 112 567. Brilliant. And if you want, of course, you can pop in some spaces just to make it a bit easier if you've got the space within your metadata. Now, the key to your metadata and what you choose is the key phrase needs to be about what your blog is about. The SEO title really should be the title of your blog because that's what the page is about, and then if you can fit your contact details in, even better. The slug is automatically generated for you from the page title, and you can more or less just leave that as it is. Mine's got a 2 on the end because I'm duplicating this blog because it's already within my website. So if that happens to you, you might want to consider changing your title because you've already got a title called that if you've got any numbers on the end, which we don't want. We don't want to duplicate content. And then the meta description is just that little bit of description that appears in Google. As you can see here, this bit is the meta description and this bit is the meta title. And again, in the meta description, you want to get your keywords in there, your business name in there, and your contact details in there. That's the most important thing for metadata. Now what I wanted to quickly show you was the beauty of Yoast. If you click this arrow here, it will give you a list of what you're doing right in the website blog and what you're doing wrong in your blog. So as you can see here, I've got my key phrase in, the key phrase is in, the length of my key phrase is fine, my key phrase density within my blog is fine. So the key phrase density is how many times you mention this keyword in this part of your blog, in the main section of your blog. And it will, if you haven't achieved the right keyword density, it will tell you how many more times you need to mention it within that length of blog. And depending how long the blog is, means more times you have to mention it. For the length of my blog, I need to mention it twice, and I have done, so that's brilliant. The meta description is fine, my key phrase is in there. And the length is good, so that's this bit that I've got green bars going across. We haven't previously used the key phrase. Now this is really important because you should only use your key phrase once on your website. We do not want to duplicate content. Duplicated content is a massive no-no in Google. So when we're writing blogs, we want to write them ourselves and without any influence or copy pasting from any other blog. That doesn't mean to say that you can't use the same title or topic that someone else has used, but write it in your own words. That is essential. If you duplicate content, even your own content, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone else's, Google will give you a big black mark, and that's really difficult to recover from. So just make sure that you write all of your own blogs. It's as easy as that, really. Your text length. Now, to optimize, the blog needs to be over 300 words, but to get the best results, over 600 words, it will give you the best results. So if you can create a blog that is 600 words or more, you will get better results in Google from that. Key phrase in the title, so you can see what I did before. I took my title and then took the key phrase from the title to put in there, so I knew that I would get a tick on that one. The SEO title is within the right width, so that's this one. And the key phrase is in the slug, so my key phrase is actually in this slug here, which again is important because your slug is what's seen. It's the link essentially to your blog. Now let's look at the things that I haven't got in the blog that I could put in so that this little orange person goes to a green person, because that's what we're after, green throughout. So it's saying here I've got no outbound links, I've got no internal links and no image. Now I know that adding an image will get me to green straight away, because not only do you need 600 words on your blog, you need at least one image. So to upload an image, first off we will go to set featured image and do the featured image. Now, when it comes to featured images, you want them all to be the same width and height so that they look good on the front end of your website. I would always recommend doing 350 pixels by 350 pixels, but as long as the dimensions are the same each time, you can have whatever you want. Now, mine aren't 350 by 350, but whatever dimensions you choose, stick to them, and then they will always be in line and always look good. That's the biggest thing that people get wrong, is they don't edit the images before they upload them to WordPress so that they're all the same size, and then you get higgledy-piggledy boxes and things and it just doesn't look as good. So just a top tip there, edit your image before you put it in and make sure that every image for your featured image is the same dimension, so the same width and the same height. So to set a featured image and to add any image into WordPress, you click set featured image and then upload file. Select files, and then you just select your file that you want to upload, just as you would do for uploading any file or anything to the web. So here's the picture that I want to use, uploading it. Now, we always want to give an alt text to our images. That is the text that appears if the image itself doesn't load, and what we want to give it is the same as what we've given the key phrase. So I'm just going to copy the title and pop that into the alt text, or literally just copy and pasted that into the alt text so that we've got an alt text that contains the key phrase, and then set featured image, and you'll see that the featured image appears here. So now what we've done is we have not only got enough words on our blog, we've got an image, and if I scroll back up, you'll see that we've got a nice little green man. I've just noticed here, now we've got an orange pop-up that says images on the page do not have alt attributes with at least half the words from your key phrase. Now, we know that's not correct because we copied and pasted the title over. So just, again, another little quirk in WordPress, sometimes you just need to save it so that it actually takes in everything that you've put into it. If that's still appearing, when we scroll back down, we see it's still appearing. I'm just going to click into this featured image and just check that the alt tag, the alt tag is still in there, that's fine. Don't forget, Yoast is just a representation and it can make mistakes and it isn't Google. So if you know full well that you have done exactly what it says, but it's not showing that it's done, don't worry, Google will recognise that it's done. It's Yoast just having a little bit of a fad. It's a very big plugin that does a lot of different things. So sometimes it can just get a little bit iffy and doesn't 100% get it 100% right all the time, but it is still a very good indicator as to what you need on your website. So I know I've done that, so I'm going to go, okay, brilliant. Now what we're going to do is do our outbound links and our internal links. So if you scroll up, you will see within my blog that I have got some links here. Now these are both going to be external links. And the way we do an external link is highlight the text just like I've done and copy it. Then we're going to hit this little button up here, which is insert link or edit link, and you'll see that it appears in there. But because it's an external link, we want to make sure that it opens in a new tab and doesn't open in the tab that we're already on, because we don't want people to go away from the website. We want them to be able to still see our website but have the new information pop up as well. So if you click the little cog, you'll see that you get this section here. I just want you to tick open link in new tab. Then you can hit update and you're going to have a link there that opens in a new tab to that link. I'm going to do it again with GT Metrics. Highlight it, copy, hit the link. You'll see it appears in there. and it appears in there because we've hit the copy. Then link options, open link in new tab, update, and you'll see now that we've got the link, both of the external links in there. If you have an internal link, let's see where we can pop an internal link. Sorry, I've just noticed that there's a space that needs to go in there, so I'm going to pop that in there, because again, the WordPress Classic View does give you spelling errors too, which I find rather useful because I'm hugely dyslexic. So have we got somewhere where I can say contact? I'm just having a look, sorry. Let me know. Contact, I'm going to put contact me for more info. And then to do an external link, you would just highlight all that text, or just the contact me bit of text, whatever you prefer. Go over to insert links. As you'll see, there's nothing in there this time because we didn't copy it. We're going to just hit the cog, and this time you can see down here there are all of my pages, all of my blogs, everything that's on my website's down here. This search bar will allow you to search all of your pages and blogs. So I'm going to search for contact because I want to link to the contact page, and you'll see it pops up here. So I'm going to hit contact us, and that puts the URL for contact us at the top, and the link is the text contact me for more info that I put in down here. Now I don't want this to open in a new tab. I'm happy for them to open in an existing tab because it's still within my website. So I'm going to untick that and then add link, and you'll see the link's been added there for you. And again, I'm going to pop up and save the draft to make sure that everything saved as I wanted it to, because the worst thing that can happen is you can make all of these changes, save the draft, go over to here, hit F5 on your keyboard so that does a refresh, and the worst thing is if this just all looks rubbish and you don't know what's going on. You don't know which change you made that made the error, so it's always best make a change, update it, check it. It will save you a lot of time in the long run, trust me. It will save you a lot of time if you, as soon as you've made a change, you update and check. It seems a little laborious, especially when you get it right all the time, but it will help you in. Or, okay, try and do it the other way. Do a whole blog and don't save and check it and see how frustrated you are because you don't know where the errors are. Have a go. I wouldn't recommend it, but have a go if you want. So what I've done is I've hit F5 on my keyboard so that I can see the changes, and we can see that my links are here. Let's just check that they're external links. Brilliant. They've opened externally, both of them. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and you can see that the contact me for more info is an internal link because it doesn't pop open a new tab, it just opens within the website. I'm going to hit the backspace button to go back to the page that I was on because this is the blog page that I'm interested in looking at. Now, what you might see on my website is that I have more text on my website than what is appearing here. On my blog post, it finishes at contact me for more info, but on my actual blog page, I've got loads more after contact me for more info. Now that's because within my theme, what I've done is I've added this information so that it appears every time. Now, unless you have tech skills, that's a little bit difficult to do. So what I recommend instead is that you pop in, almost as a footer, like for your emails, you pop in a bit of text that has all of your contact links, everything for Facebook, Insta, any freebies that you've got. You pop it in at the end. So you would go in here and pop in, you'd say, thank you for reading. Here is my FB link. You know, whatever you want to do, whatever you need to put in there that's got all of your links, all of your information essentially in there, and then each time we just copy and paste that information over to each blog so that you don't have to worry about knowing that you've got all your contact details in there each time. You can just copy and paste it because you've done it once. It's not going to change. Unless obviously you change your Facebook link or you've got a new freebie that you want to change. So just so that you can see what I mean by that, I would just literally copy this bit and just paste it into there. And then each time I create a new blog, you can just copy and paste that bit in again. I'm just going to undo that, because otherwise it won't look right when you save it. Brilliant. So you might also want to add images to the main body of your blog that are different from your featured image. Now, for these images, it doesn't matter the height, but the width should always be 350 pixels. So edit your images before you upload them to the website, and the width should be 350 pixels. Now, it's dead easy to do, just as you did with your featured image. Click into where you want the image to appear in the box, because that's where it will appear once you add media. And now you can search the media that you've already got. So I know that one is 350 by 350. You can tell because it tells you here how many pixels wide the picture is and high. So I'm just going to pop that one in. Again, you'd want to put the alt tag in or the key phrase that we've been using. So just copy and paste the title. Now, alignment. If you have it to the right or left, it will sit inside of the text and it will wrap around. If you set it as centre, it will be centred on its own, essentially, in its own paragraph. So I'm going to just show you quickly the difference. So let's align it, let's align it right. We don't need a link on this image. Now, obviously you can use whatever link that you want, you can add to this image. So if you wanted to do a custom URL and take someone, for example, to the Make Blogging Easier mini course, I could add that URL in here, but very rarely would you ever attach it to the media file or to, I mean, you can do it to the attachment page, but again, more often than not, you just hit none. And then you want to always hit full size, because you should have edited the image already, so that when you hit full size, there is no extra coding needed to shrink that image down. Then insert post, and you will see that the image appears within the text. Just going to hit save draft. Then we are going to F5 it. Again, on the keyboard, just hit F5. And you'll see that that sits inside and next to the text. If you go in and you add media and you put it on centre, you'll see that it appears on its own in the centre. Okay then, so what we've done here is covered all of the Yoast SEO elements, and the SEO elements are the actual things that appear on your blog. So all we were talking about before, actual links, actual images, have you got the metadata in? They're actual physical things that you add to the website and the blog page. Now we're going to hit this tab up here called readability. Now readability is Yoast's best representation of how a blog post should read. Now, the majority of the results that you get within the readability are very subjective, and it's very difficult to say whether something's right or wrong, especially if you have a technical blog. If you're doing something that has a lot of technical words in it, you'll be very lucky to get Yoast to say that it's above an orange. And that's because what Yoast is looking for is small, short sentences with easy to read words to make your blog as accessible as possible to people. However, if you do something very technical, say you are an engineer of some sort, you're going to find it very difficult to write a blog that doesn't include technical words. So this readability section, take it with a grain of salt. Make sure that you are using as short sentences as possible with as many easy to read words as possible. and you should do fine. There are a couple of other things to look out for, and as you can see here, subheadings are one of them. You want to make sure you're using subheadings throughout the text, and I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. Now, you only want ever one H1 tag heading. So by that I mean you only want to use H1, the heading 1, once. That will already have been used within your website. That will have already been coded for within some section of it. So to make sure you avoid duplicating the header 1, always use header 2. And it's as simple as going, where do I want my header? Where's a good place to put a header? There we go. We'll pop one there. Heading 2. Brilliant. Now you want one around every 150 words, and you don't want any paragraphs over about 100 words. So if I go down here, you'll see that I'm now orange, but I still need one more heading in because I've got a section that's longer than 300 words. So I think I'm going to go here, put that heading here, and then we're going to save the draft. Now wait for it to cycle through, F5 so that it does a refresh, wait for it to cycle through. As you can see, a lot of web design and a lot of this is waiting, which can be frustrating. Now, as you can see from my blog here, adding in the title here has made the picture format look terrible. It's given me a massive, great big space here. Now, you've got a couple of options here. You can either not make this a heading anymore, or you can move where this image is so it fits in more nicely. And that's the option that I'm going to go for. So it's very easy to do that. Go back over and you can see this picture here. Please remove it and add it in underneath the heading. Now, as a rule of thumb, you generally want to put images underneath headings rather than try and link them side by side. Some WordPress websites are happy to link the headings in line with the website blog. However, most of them aren't. So just as a good rule of thumb, it's easier just to move the image. So what I've done there is just save draft. I'm going to wait for that to cycle around, press F5 on my keyboard, and you'll see that I now have a much nicer view of my titles, and my image there fits in much more nicely there, fits in much better. So we go back, let's scroll all the way down, readability, and you'll see that we now have all greens. So just quickly, just to go over, because you might not obviously have all greens. So the reading, the easy reading, that's about how short the sentences are, how easy the words are to read. Again, take that with a grain of salt. It depends what you're writing about. Same with the passive voice, the construct your sentences. Again, it's very, very subjective, but what you're after is having sentences that are less than 20 words, really. That's what they say. Don't forget, it is a system, a program at the end of the day. It has set parameters. So if you regularly go over 20 words, you're going to get flagged. But you might need to go over 20 words each time, so it's totally up to you. But the things to look out for are to make sure that you've got your headings in there and that you're not repeating the same word again and again at the beginning of a sentence. So the one that normally gets people out is you'll do like a title, and then you'll do a couple of bullet points, and you'll start these bullet points with the same words. So you'll, for example, be like, you need to do so and so, and then you need to do this, and then you need to do that. Try and avoid using the same word at the beginning of the sentence. Just try and make it so it's not sequential, so that the first sentence, the second sentence, and the third sentence start with different words. The SEO stuff is very much you need this stuff on the page. It needs to be there. That's what I want for Google. The readability is much more fluid. So don't get too hung up on it, because this one is a little bit more subjective. So then we have got the readability, the SEO, you've got your title in, you've got your permalink in, everything's looking fab, you've got an image, you've got your featured image, perfect. Now what we want to do is, if you can't see this discussion, the slug and the author bit, what we're going to do is scroll all the way up, and we're going to go to screen options up here. We're going to make sure every single thing up here is ticked. So tick every little one for me, and then once you've done that, what we'll be able to make sure you can see is the discussion area. We do not tick allow comments. It may seem a little bit counterintuitive, but with WordPress, what will happen is you'll just get so much spam to your site because you're allowing comments that it's just not worth it. You're better off just sharing your URLs to your social media rather than allowing people to write comments to your website. So you can do trackbacks and pingbacks, but do not allow comments. And then we are going to go over and look at categories and tags. So what you can see in my WordPress blog is that I've got several categories here. Now, categories are about sorting your blog so that people can search your website by specific categories, and WordPress will allow you to actually create a URL that is about bounce rate or business networking, so that you can specifically say this belongs to this category. You do this by adding, so let's do essential oils. If you want to add a category saying essential oils, and you want it to say it's going to be a parent of business, so essential oils will be then put within the category of business, and then you can add a new category. It will see, it does its thing, and then you can see here it's just added them both within the category section. So if you're interested in only web design, you can click and you can find all of the blog posts about web design. Tags are literally just, what is your website blog about? What is this particular blog about? So it just gives people a way to, again, separate and find what's most important to them about your website, but it doesn't give you that option to link.
And then to add the tag, you simply type the word into here. So we would go with something like Google, because Google is mentioned within the blog. And then I would probably want to put all the tags to do with optimization. So optimization, and then we just add the tag. And you do that as many times as you want, and those tags are there ready to be used.
So I would encourage everyone to do a categories and also tags, so that once your blog becomes much bigger than it is now, it's much easier for people to actually navigate through it. Then once you've done your categories, you've done your tags, we go to save draft. We're going to do one last check just to make sure that everything's gone smoothly and we're happy with everything that's gone with the blog. Yep, perfect, that looks great. Now we are ready to either publish, and if you're ready straight away for it to be published, hit publish, and then the blog will be ready to go within your website, or you can schedule. So it's as simple as, instead of where it says publish immediately, hit edit, and then just choose the date and the time that you want it to be scheduled. So the 7th at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you just hit OK. And then rather than saying publish, it says schedule. And then you just schedule, and then you just wait and the blog will upload to your WordPress website and be live at the time that you scheduled it. And it's as simple as that. Once we've hit schedule or publish, everything's ready to go. So you can either start another post so that you could do your whole month in one go, which is what I would recommend you to do. And once you do this a couple of times, the copy and pasting and adding all the different bits and pieces, it's very quick. You'll very quickly catch on what you need to do and get these blogs actually uploaded and optimized for you for the best that they can be for Google. Hopefully this course has been really informative to you, but if you do have any questions, any queries or anything that you'd like to know, please feel free to email me. Again, my email address is in the PDF that came attached with this course, and I'd be so more than happy for you to get in touch and let me know how it all went. And please again, send me your blog links so that we can all enjoy your blogs and what you've got to say. There is just one more thing, one little tip that I wanted to talk to you about, and that is not just scheduling and writing a plan for your blog, but also writing a plan for your social media. Now, social media isn't my forte, it isn't my area of expertise, but I just wanted to say what you do for your blogs, you can also do for your social media. Choose what types of posts you're going to post each week of the month. You can do the same each week of every month. So say, for example, I have Maintenance Monday on a Monday, I have Sharing Saturdays on Saturdays, so I know that I've always got a few posts each week that are going to be the same, that are going to be there, so I've just got a little bit of a safety net to help me make sure that I am continually posting to my social media, because with social media, you've probably got around 5 days before you lose your reach. So if you're not posting regularly, again, it's very difficult to get anywhere. So just a little tip, you can always use the topic that you've chosen for your blog, for your social media every month, as well as for your blog. So for example, if I did a month on WordPress plugins, I would use that for my social media content as well as for my blog content, because what will happen is you have a much more targeted marketing, because that month everything you're talking about is one specific thing, and so you're much more likely to get people coming and listening to what you've got to say rather than everything being ad hoc and all over the place. So I just wanted to put out there, just give you a few little tips that you can use everything that you write for your blogs, it can be used for your social media. Obviously, don't copy word for word. We're not looking to duplicate content, but it might be, and I find it infinitely easier to know what to talk about because I've already chose that topic for that month. Now, there is one specific place where you can use your blog word for word, and that is within your newsletter. So newsletters don't actually go on the internet in any sort of way. They are purely an email, so you can copy word for word your blog, so please don't forget to do that. Copy it word for word, paste it into whether you use MailerLite, MailChimp, whatever it is that you use, and send it out. You may as well be putting newsletters out there because you don't need to think up something else. You may as well just post what you've already written for your blog that week, that month, and it just gives you another way for you to influence and to get your marketing going. So again, thank you very much. I hope this was really helpful. If you need me, if you've got any questions, just let me know. Bye for now.